And right now, I'm so excited about my next guest, who definitely needs no introduction. She's a woman who has proven that she's resilient, that she's resourceful, and above all, that she got what it takes to make it. So I'd like to introduce to you Terryanne Chebet, looking beautiful.
Thank you, Tamima.
You just had a
Thank
baby.
you. I did.
How old now?
3.5 months.
And look at you. You actually, because I think I saw you before you gave birth. Now, I follow you on Instagram because you have very inspirational posts.
Thank you.
And you're smaller now than before the baby.
Yes, I am.
VLCC?
I don't think I can afford it now, but no, I think it's breastfeeding,
Right.
you know, watching what I eat. With my first baby, I gained weight actually after delivery. And it was all the njahe, the porridge. So now I'm wiser about the food, still taking good food, soups, and other liquids that, you know, encourage good breastfeeding, but not necessarily the heavy foods. So I think I've watched my weight this time.
Okay.
I'm wiser now.
So, Terryanne, I was telling you earlier, because I searched the interviews just to see what do the fans want to know about Terryanne. So, number one, because you just came from a segment where we were talking about the fountain of youth. Look at you. You haven't aged a bit. What's the secret?
I don't, maybe genes, I don't know, one of them. So I have to say thank you, Mama. But I think I take good care of myself. I eat well. I take care of my skin. And because I like wearing makeup, so I think you have to have a good canvas to put the makeup on. So I have a facial every month without fail. I cleanse my face before I sleep. I moisturize it. I put serum. I'm one of those who takes like half an hour before I actually get into bed.
You could never sleep with makeup,
No,
I bet.
no,
You're
I
one
can't.
of those girls.
No, I
It has
can't.
to be scrubbed,
Yeah.
toned off.
Yes.
The whole shebang.
And my pillows are white, so.
Oh, wow. I get that as well.
Yeah.
I get that as well. Actually, I was going to share it, but you know what? I'll share it in a different show. But I want to ask you, because what I love about you is resilience. I think if there's anybody who has proved that, and I look up to you personally, because I'm in this industry as well, and you're one of the people you've come before me, and of course, you had to deal with something that, to anyone in our industry, it could shake the very foundation of your confidence. Because then you start asking yourself, am I not good enough?
True.
So how did you get over that?
It's interesting you said that, because and that's actually the biggest challenge that one has to deal with when, you know, you're faced with retrenchment. When you think, I'm good at my job, and you know, I thought I was good at my job, so
you are.
I know, I know that, but you ask, and that's a question that it can actually, you know, you lose your self-confidence. But I didn't let myself do that because I had a fallback plan. I had 2 businesses that I had been running for a while. So I think the crux of that issue was that, first of all, it was too public. It was, and those are some of the things you want to deal with on your own, like quietly, then let people know, oh yes, I was retrenched, I was declared redundant, whatever. But it was so public that dealing with it was, I mean, until today, I walk into places where even maybe the security guy says, Terryanne kipole sana, usijali Mungu ako na plan. You know, and I'm like, it took a while before, you know, because I'd stay strong and then I get into the car and then the tears come. But I had to look strong at that point. But yeah, it's taken a while. I think I've had a very strong support system. I've got a very close-knit group of friends, and my family was like bang right there with me from the beginning. So it was difficult. I can't say it wasn't. It was a very emotional, I think the most emotional period I've ever gone through as a person. But you have to bounce back. I've got daughters who now look up to me. I can't afford to, you know, cower and say, that's it, I don't know what to do now.
Speaking about bouncing back, is it true that coincidentally your second born was actually born on the day that it happened?
Yes, and I was so surprised about that. And I keep asking myself, I'm like, and I say God has a good sense of humor. He's got an interesting sense of humor. So I got my letter on the 26th of October, 2016. And my baby came on the 26th of October, 2017.
Isn't that God speaking to
you? I'm like, what? If it isn't, then I don't know what it is. And for me, it is, you know, she came as a sign of, you know, freshness, a sign of new joys, new blessings. And yeah, and she's brought so much joy to our home. So I'm really excited about that.
You said our home. So are you off the market now, madam?
I have been off the market for a while. I am off the market.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So I want to ask you about your businesses, because we have some goodies for you. So we're going to be giving those out later. But you mentioned that you were smart enough, even when you're still within media, you had a fallback plan. So tell me about those. I know there's the PR digital agency, and of course there's the organics business.
Yes. So I started the skincare business a couple of years ago, but it was more or less like a hobby. I hadn't taken it as seriously as I should have. The agency business, I started it because I was working at one of the media houses where we used to report at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I felt like I was wasting my morning. And I thought, you know, if it doesn't conflict with my contract, why not start something? So I started a social media marketing company at the time. So it's now grown into a full-blown advertising agency. But, you know, by the time I was just about to leave, I think a year into, say, the beginning of 2017, I got a business partner who came on board as the managing director. So by October, that's when I lost my job. Scarlett was on its feet. You know, we had a good group of clients. We had some good members of staff. So it was my immediate fallback plan. You know, after the 26th, when it happened, 27th in the morning, my MD was at my door, and she's like, "Wait, we have a meeting at 10 o'clock. I've come to pick you up." And that's how it's been from then on.
So if you were to look back, because I like this little concept called connecting the dots backwards. So looking back now, after everything that you've achieved, after the pain that you obviously had to endure, what would you say your biggest lesson out of that whole situation was?
A couple of lessons. I think the most important one is always have a plan B, or always know, and the plan B does not have to be a business. The plan B can be make sure you have financial support, or you have saved enough, or you have invested in something that you can liquidate in case because you're going to need the money. Because a retrenchment is not something you plan for, but in retrospect, it is something you can plan for. So either if you have a side gig and if your contract allows, you do that. And if you can save enough so that, and people sometimes tell me, I want to leave my job, I want to start a business. I say, make sure you have enough rent for 12 months that you can pay upfront. You have enough to keep you and your family going for at least 1 year.
Because it's tough.
It is tough. It is tough.
Okay, but clearly you are having a good streak right now. You recently bought a car, so the blogs have been talking. And I hear Victoria Beckham is somehow related here, eh?
Yes, I went to Beijing for orientation when I was working for CCTV. And that was when Victoria Beckham was launching the special edition of the Evoque. And I saw it and I said, oh my God, I have to have this car. I mean, my salary at the time.
Then you say, like, I have to have it. It's like, you know, you're walking down the streets, mangoes are in season.
Yeah.
I have to have a mango. But we're talking about a Range Rover.
Evoque.
Yes.
Yes. So I knew I was going to get it. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I believed it. I put it on my vision board for 2015. It's still there until today. But it was a white Range Rover Evoque. I put it on my vision board, and I said my car. And I remember even we used to drive down with my daughter in my car, and I'd see Range Rover Evoques, and I'd tell her, Mama, that's my car. You know, that's my car. So eventually when I got it, she's like, oh, Mommy, you finally got it.
It's your car. And just to confirm, because you know the blogs be talking, the logbook is in your name.
It is my car.
There, you had it straight from her mouth.
It is my car.
Now, she mentioned that she has her Kiara Organic. So I have goodies for you. Remember, all you have to do is let me know what about Terryanne's story inspires you the most. And you get the chance to be walking away with a very nice package here from Kiara Organics. And she has some nice products. I can see here some shea and aloe. And this stuff doesn't come cheap. Huh? No. I can tell you guys that for free. So you definitely want to be walking away with this. Now, finally, I want to ask you, because a lot of young girls look up to you, myself included. Do you see yourself going back into media?
I say never, although I think things happen the way they should happen. If I didn't lose my job, perhaps I would have to wait a couple of more years to get a baby, because it was difficult balancing family and work. But I think everything comes in its own time. I'm in a different space now. I'm really enjoying that space. I think I was in a comfort zone in the media. Because I'd done business reporting for a long time. And I think there's a time when you can be called anytime, hey, you need to do an interview with the CEO of X Bank. And you know you are in a comfort zone when you do not have to research and you'll still do the interview properly. So I just felt I needed that little kick in my butt. Can you say butt on TV? A little kick to just, get back and get my energy on. And that's where I am now, and I really enjoy it. So if I do go back into media, it has to be something that will excite me again.
And speaking about that, you've actually because I follow you, I see that you get invited to host a lot of events. You get invited to mentor, not just within Kenya, and of course on a global scale as well. So how do you get all that going?
I think I've mastered the art of networking, which in our industry, you know, you're as good as your last show. You're as good as your network is your net worth. Absolutely. So I've built a really good network around me. When I moderate or when I go to places, I always introduce myself. I give a business card and I say I can do ABC. And I use social media as well to especially sites like LinkedIn, which is a professional site. And I've got a couple of jobs from there. I did a moderation session in South Africa. I've done something in Geneva recently, just from people who have followed my LinkedIn profile. So I think there's different ways of getting things done, but especially as a woman in business reporting, you have to put your foot at the door and push it. Absolutely. Because it's a men's world. It's a man's world.
One of my mentors told me that when you're at the table, don't ask to eat. So you need to learn how to work the room, sell your brand.
Exactly.
And I've definitely learned so much from you from this interview.